Hi, it's Jamie at the Bead Gallery. I am cruising a little bit today, and before I go home, I'm going to work on my friend Trina's earring and matching pendant. And I thought, oh, this would be a really good time to see if you guys have questions about techniques, questions about anything at all. Let's see. Let me open it up. I can watch. So I have my face up right now just so I can say hi. Hi. And I'm going to take it down in just a second so you have a full view of my project. So these are koa earrings, and we soldered a star charm to the bottom. Now, soldering is a technique of where you use metal and heat, and you're basically closing up a gap. So where your jump ring would come in closed like this, now it's going to be permanently shut. So that's soldering. And that's spelled Soldering. So soldering. Now, if you want to learn how to solder, that's something completely different than that's called hot metalworking. What I'm going to show you is cold using a wire and tools to make a link. So this one I'm going to be using some ice crystal quartz. Let me make it a little bit bigger. And I just want to say hi. Hi, June. Hi, Amy. Okay. I'm working this with my hands that usually have tools in them. So let me remove myself, and now we have the full piece. Normally it is a lot faster just to bead on your own without a camera, microphone technology, but I wanted to give it a shot just in case you had questions and you've always wanted the time or just a space to ask it. And if I can answer, I'll do my best. If I cannot, I will surely let you know. All right, so I'm going to be wrapping into the loop right here. And the first thing to think about is what gauge of wire do you want to be in that loop? Now, the thicker the wire, you would think the stronger it would be, correct? So if you wanted to put in something like a 16 gauge, now it probably does fit. Let's see if it fits. And it does, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the largest wire is the best wire. We want something that's going to go in there and move freely and easily. The thicker the wire, the tighter it is, and sometimes that is more of a design problem. Now, you don't want to use the thinnest wire you have either, because the thinnest wire is not going to visually look pleasing compared to the rest of this. Like if you have a thicker piece, more solid, and it's like a little bit stronger to the eye, you definitely don't want to put your thinnest wire in there. Now, I'm not sure what the 24 gauge is going to look like, because I think that one, well, no, that's a 24 gauge, but if you had, maybe this is a 26. Now, if you don't know what gauge your wire is, let me show you how to figure it out. We have this tool called a wire gauge, and you put it in to the hole. Usually, I try to put it into a hole that I know it doesn't fit. So 23, nope. 24, nope. 25. So in 26, it's tight. So this is a 26 gauge wire. That, my friends, is a little too thin. I don't feel comfortable using a 26 gauge wire in there. And oh my goodness, I thought I had 24. So give me 1 second while I look around for another piece of wire that we can pop in there. Oh my goodness. I'll be right back. I gotta run and get one. I am back. So I'm going to try. I can't find my 24, so I'm going to use a 22. Hi, Susanna. So 20, it fits, 21. And then I'll try the 22, and it just barely goes in there. So this is a 22 gauge. Okay. I'm going to cut that. Give me 1 second. Hold your wire whenever you cut it because there is a snapback that can happen. Okie dokie. And we're going to make a loop that fits. It is the Goldilocks. You want it just right. Now this hole, these are a little bit tricky because you can't just make a tiny loop and hope that it fits. Let me give you an example because I love examples. I think it's the best way to learn and understand. You're like, oh, that hole is not very big. Let me put a tiny loop in there, right? I've tried that. So get your wire. You're like, I'm going to make a teeny tiny loop because it's a small hole. Well, it's not the hole size that determines how big a loop it should be. It is how low the hole is, and it is how deep it is, or how thick the piece is that's going into here. And let me show you why. Because a small hole can be a tricky thing to gauge. So, well, there's the reason. I can't even get it onto the curve of this loop because the loop is too tiny. And, whoop, I did get it on there. But look what happens. It's so tiny that if I were to wrap it, it's going to stick straight out and not move. And that is not what you want to happen when you wire wrap. You want there to be some room, some leeway, so that when you're wearing it, it can dangle and have some play. So the consideration here is the depth of the hole and how thick the piece is. So knowing that, I'm going to make my loop on the middle of my rounds. It's going to be like about 4, maybe 4 millimeters. We shall see. Now I'm going to see if that fits. If it moves, yes. And sometimes it's really tricky. Like after you wrap it, you're like, oh, it doesn't move after I wrapped it because it got tighter and ate up some of the wire. That's perfect. Now I don't like my loops too big. This was the one that I'm wearing was a prototype earring. So the loop is a little bit larger and a little bit thinner. And so I don't know that I loved it. So that's why I'm redoing this one. This is the one that I'm going to be sending to my friend Trina. I am going to make only 1.5 loops on this instead of the 2 wire wraps that we show on our video. Mostly because I don't want my wire wraps taking away from my beads. So I'm just going to do a very little bit of a wire wrap. Then I'm going to pop on my... Ooh, she got the one with the rainbow in it. I tried to pick her out, the one I liked. And there is a difference on when you pick up your bead and you put it on, especially if there's inclusions or anything on there. So please take care to look at it. Like if the inclusions are on the bottom of the bead, I tend to put that so the inclusions are weighted on the bottom. So it looks like as if gravity were pulling things down in a snow globe versus just randomly throwing it on the wire. I'm going to do the wire up on the other side. So I make a 90-degree angle. And I'm going to make the same size loop. You don't always have to make the same size loop. So if you have a very, very delicate ear wire, you may want to make a small loop. Oh, I also forgot to tell you. So sorry. The orientation of your loops makes a difference. So this loop is profile, right? You cannot see the loop. The ear wire, the loop is profile. So that means this loop should be going side to side, not the same way. That way, when you put it on, there's no difficulty. So on the next ear wire, I'll show you a better trick than what I'm doing, which is flipping the wire. So now the loop will go side to side and you can just put it right onto the ear wire. Now, again, this was a question and answer. Just cruising today. I'm not in a rush to jump into traffic. It's my day off. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to come in and do some paperwork. I ended up on the phone with customer service for a very long time for two different issues. I was like, oh, I tell you, I need to do something relaxing. So I was like, I'm going to make these earrings right now. It's always good to go into traffic relaxed, right? Now, what do you guys do when you're in traffic? Put on my mag eyes so I can see. Press that in. Tuck that in. Other side. Okay. Now this loop, I need it to be front to back. So one of the easiest ways to turn your loop is to hold both and do it like that. So now I have one facing front. When I put it on my ear wire, I'm going to show you, but I'm going to close it first. It is good to go. Ta-da! I'll just do the other side. Now, it is a good practice to clean your wire. I have a polishing cloth that I do that with. Thank you for joining me on this live. Right before I came here, I did a quick recording on how to do an earring design layout. So watch for that video, please. I printed out a little flyer. I did some drawings. I have to say that coming to a video recording with a drawing made it so much easier. And now I'm thinking, okay, that is something I'm going to continue doing. If you want a downloadable version of that, let me know and I can post it into our Bead Ohana. Okay, cut off the end. I'm going to assume that there's no questions because all of you are wire wrappers. Susanna, I know, I forget quite a bit too. Okay, so I'm thinking right now. So I know this one has to go left to right. So when I look at this loop, you want to be looking at it this way through the loop, and you'll be wrapping in that motion, perpendicular. I love wire wrapping. I'm like, oh my God. Hello. Do you know what I was looking for? I was looking for the moon. I have now had this store for half my life, 27 years. And it cracks me up because the things that I catch myself doing, I'm like, oh my goodness. So it is a good habit to always check before you wrap any loop shut. Look around, look for anything you're supposed to be adding in. Check your brain, check your wallet. Okay, so here's the next one and the ear wire. Now, when you do your second loop and you don't have to adjust it, fix it, turn it, it always does look nicer than when you grab it and you have to torque it. Don't forget that if you want your earrings to be mirror images, that you have to put them on the ear wire as a mirror image. Otherwise, you're going to have them both be in the same direction. Now, it's okay. You can always open your ear wire and change it. Your ear wire, though, it generally can open 3 to 5 times before it will break. Before that part here gets work hardened, you have about 3 to 5 times, depending on what kind of metal it is. So I try not to open that up over and over. I try to keep it to once, twice max. Ha ha ha. So beautiful. That is the other side of Miss Trina's earring. And now I'm gonna make her a pendant because I had these little koa flames. You know, it's so funny. I thought they were like flame shaped, but now I think they are more like a little leaf, which is so awesome. I'm so in the mood for fall. Okay, here is my polishing cloth. And now I'm going to make a jump ring so she can wear it. So when I make my jump rings, I like to use a wrap and tap, grab the end, flush cut the end, make sure that it's not, oh, let me see if this is sterling or plated. If it's plated, you can see like a little copper bit in the center. You'll see a little pink line. No pink line, sterling, we're good. So I already tested it. If you can, make test pieces on your wrap and tap, put them on the side. So if you're like, oh, I don't know what size fits, you already have your sizes ready on the side. Grab the end of the wire so it's starting to bend and put a curve in it already. And bring it around. I'm going to make one jump ring. So wait till it crosses at the crossing point. Cut it. And I'm going to rock it open and closed. 1, 2, 3. That's going to harden it so that will not open up on her. And dun, 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 dun. Close it so it's nice and tight. Should not see a split in between. Feel it. Make sure you don't feel this. By Taylor. And then I have a little pendant to go with her earrings for her. You know, it'd be cute. I was thinking if we put a little dot of glue and put a little Swarovski crystal rhinestone. But I'm not gonna do that because just in case she wants to wear it plain, like, oh, did I show you my necklace? I'm going to pop in before I leave and show you how my necklace looks. Hang on. I gotta stand up. Okay, hang on. So this is the same thing that I have made for Trina. I've been wearing mine, and then I have a longer one that I wear 24 inches. I have been wearing it every day. It's so lightweight and so easy. Like if you don't wear wood charms yet, it is something that I would recommend. Oh, that's a great idea. That is such a cute idea. Okay, so before I go, Cass, you're saving me from traffic. Turn off my face. What if we make a little charmy to hang in the front? Yeah, what if? I could just do it. You know what? I'm going to do mine in copper because I think it'd be cute. Or silver. What do you think? Silver or copper? Feels like a little thunderbolt. Oh, what if it's a little heart? That'd be cute. I don't know if my fingers are feeling the strength to do 16 today. I'm going to do it in 18. Let me try. Copper. Do you love my magnifying headpiece? I can't live without it. I started carrying these 25 years, 26 years ago, because my mama couldn't see. And I was like, what? She asked me to carry something. We tested a whole bunch of different brands. She loved this one, and it became our staple Mag Eyes. They went out of business just this year after like 50, 60 years. I know COVID was not something recoverable for a lot of us. Hi, Gail. Okay. Hello, Wendy. So I'm thinking about making something to go on the front of there. I don't know what I'm feeling, so first I'm going to make a bend. It was going to be the V of my heart. Yeah, it can be. We'll see. It's really fun just to pick up a piece of wire. Oh, the screen is so tiny when I'm working vertically. Do you guys just like a fresh piece of wire? I do. I love it when it's nice and unbent. Now, let us put a tiny actually, I don't even know what I'm doing right now, which is kind of fun. There is no pressure because this is not teaching sometimes the pressure, right? It's like, I have to come up with a project. When you're just beating for the heck of it, oh my God, that's a totally different ball game. Why can't life always feel like this, right? The no expectation energy of whatever comes, what comes, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. You fill in that blank. Okay, I'm going to keep making the other side. Oh my gosh, that's kind of cool. If it's not perfectly symmetrical. I like it. But you know what I didn't account for in this little will it work or won't it is where I'm going to end the wire. I don't know. Can I end it on this wrapped loop? So one thing that's fun about freeform, I guess it really doesn't matter what you do, because if it doesn't look good, just throw it in the scrap pile. You can always harden. Oh, I will harden like that side too, so it gets a little bit tighter on that loop. Let's cut this. Or if it'll be cool if I make a teeny tiny little loop. I know breaking the wire is a thing, but I tell you what, once you break it enough times, you stop being scared of it, because it's like anything, you start to know the strength of your hands and the strength of the wire. You ever make a loop and you're like, that's too much wire? You can always go in and cut part of your loop away. If you don't like the loop at all, you can just cut the whole thing off. Do I like it? Let us see. Nope, I don't. I'm just going to cut it off. Okay, now, if you have weird bends, like you don't like them, smash them out. If you have angles you want deeper, you can pop them in. Then I'm going to hammer it and let's just see. Oh. Kind of have to be unafraid to make ugly stuff to be creative. Sometimes they come out good. Sometimes they don't. When I first started doing lives, oh, I wanted everything I did. I think that's just human nature to look nice, right? And in case you're thinking, oh, and after a while you get used to it. Nah, you still want it to look nice. Well, that's kind of cool. I don't know that I like it. Oh, barbed wire out of the pasture, so corroded. Oh my God, that's hard. Okay, I'll leave that there. I'll make one more piece. Sometimes the wire gets tool marks, in particular from the chain nose. Is it from this chain nose, Sylvia? If it is, let me know, because I might be able to give you a tip. Because I know sometimes when I squeeze really hard, I'm thinking that I want a little leaf. I'm not sure how to make that happen. Okay. But if this is the tool that's giving you tool marks, let me know, because squeezing really hard can cause tool marks. But I also had some tools where the edges were so rough that those were causing tool marks also, and I was like, ooh. One thing you can always do if you want something to be wider is put your tools in there, separate the jaws. If you want the piece to be tighter, you can squeeze it together. Back. If you want it to have a sharper point, you can press inwards like that. And then if you want it to be bigger again, yeah, you know the metal that's on inexpensive tools? It's not the same metal that's used on the higher end tools. So when the metals are lower grade, they're rougher because they have more impurities in them. And what can happen is if you go like that with your finger over it and you can feel it, right? Some of the cheaper tools you can feel like you wouldn't even want to do this because it would be abrading you. Some of those tools are yeah, not the friendliest of tools. So it could be the tool. Very well may be. That loop's too big. And so the whole point of what I'm doing is to say, use your wire, use copper, it's not very expensive. Play around with your pieces. See what happens when you stretch them, when you pinch them, when you twist them, because that also can be interesting. And give you something that you've never seen before. That you can hang for fun. So again, that loop still looks a little too big to me. It's all about proportion too. When you don't like something, fix it, change it, or just throw it on the side and be like, you are for another day. Well, that's kind of cool. I'm going to throw that on Trina's in case she likes it. I don't know if I like the neck sticking out so much on the side. So grab it, turn it. And I think part of it is just accepting that creativity is not about perfection. It's more about just self-expression. She's going to be like, what is that? But do I feel relaxed and ready to jump out in traffic? Yeah, I do now. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for just cruising. Yeah, touching stuff is fun. I'm going to put this necklace back on right now. Oh, I'm right-handed, so my clasp is on my right side. So whenever you make things for people, and if there is a front and back to your piece, that is something to consider as well. So now this has to hang this way. Dun, 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 dun. Let me put it on. Thank you. I really like ice quartz. When I bought this one strand, I could only get one itty bitty like bracelet. So I cut it apart and like I think there's like 10 of us that might have one piece each. All right, here is my necklace with the heart. I don't know what it looks like, but here is a big reveal. Oop. Sorry, I'm just so short that I have to tippy toe. Oh, it's so tiny. Maybe it'd be cute just by itself on a chain. Right. Just go ahead, make stuff. Don't let anything get in your way. Don't let your self doubt stop you because, with enough practice and you make the same thing over and over, it gets better. Like anything in life, it always gets better with practice and with sincerity. If you're in it and you're trying to express yourself as best as you can and make something beautiful, it moves in that direction. And you have to really believe that it's true. And as Janine says, just play because those are the best times ever. That's the best times of our lives. That's the times we look back on and our heart sings and we feel good. And I'm so happy that I could just stand here and end my day with you guys. Have a wonderful week. Today is a Monday. We have 4 more days to try. Get it to where you want your life to be, and then have another wonderful weekend. Goodbye.